What is happiness? I feel contentment, but not euphoria. Is this a character trait or a defect? I always have a serious expression on my face. Wow, that is such a real human question. It's something I think so many of us have asked ourselves, in those quiet moments. If you've ever felt that gap between how you feel on the inside and how you think happiness is supposed to look on the outside, then you are in the right place. So let's explore this together. First things first, we've got to talk about the myth. There's this cultural script we're all handed about what it means to be happy. We're shown this one version of it. And honestly, it sets a standard that's not only unrealistic, it's just not helpful for most people. Yeah, you know the myth I'm talking about. It's loud, it's performative. It's this idea that you have to be in a state of constant joy and ecstasy. But the reality of happiness, especially a more mature happiness, is usually something much, much quieter. It's less of a fireworks show and more like a steady, warm pilot light inside you. It's built on things like stability, purpose, and this quiet confidence that you're okay. That feeling of contentment from that opening question, it fits right in here in reality. And that's the big question, isn't it? If this quiet contentment, this serious face, if it isn't some flaw that needs to be fixed, then what is it? How do we understand it? Well, the answer starts when we shift our whole perspective. We have to stop asking, what's wrong with me, and start asking, who am I? And a huge part of that answer comes down to something called your temperament. It's so important to get this. Temperament isn't a choice. And it's definitely not a character flaw. Think of it like the factory settings for your nervous system. It's the biological blueprint you're born with, the foundation your personality is built on. It's as neutral and natural as the color of your eyes. So, what does a quieter temperament actually look like? Well, it often means you have a more introverted nervous system. You're more likely to get your energy from calm moments than from a loud party. You just don't need a ton of outside stimulation because you've got this rich, deep world going on inside. And here's the key. Someone with this temperament often feels emotions very deeply. They just don't always show them on the outside. The feeling is internal, not a performance. Right. This brings us back to the serious face. This is such a huge source of misunderstanding, not just for other people looking at you, but for yourself. You start to wonder, if I feel okay inside, why don't I have a huge smile plastered on my face? Let's be crystal clear about this. A serious or neutral face is not the universal sign for sadness. Not at all. More often than not, it's simply the face of a person who is thinking. They're processing, they're observing, they're just calm. Here's the most important takeaway. Your face is not a direct printout of your soul. A neutral expression does not equal unhappiness. Now, it is really important to know the difference between this quiet temperament and another state that can sometimes look similar on the surface, something called emotional blunting. So we want to give you a clear tool to help you reflect on your own inner world. Okay, let's walk through this. With quiet happiness, there's a genuine feeling of satisfaction inside you. You can feel joy, but it's like a warmth, not a firework. The emotions are there, they're just not yelling. On the other hand, with emotional blunting, the inner world feels gray, flat. You might know intellectually that you should feel joy, but the feeling just doesn't connect. You feel distant, kind of emotionally tired. So you see, the difference isn't about the volume of the emotion, it's about the presence of it. So here it is. This is probably the most telling question you can ask yourself. When all the noise and distractions are gone, when it's just you sitting with yourself in the silence, what's that feeling? If that feeling is a sense of calm, of being centered, if it's a fundamental feeling of I'm okay, then that's what you're likely experiencing. That is quiet, mature happiness. It's a state of peaceful self-acceptance. However, if that feeling in the silence is one of emptiness, if things feel kind of colorless or distant, that's a different experience. Now, this isn't a reason to panic, not at all. It's simply a signal from your inner self that maybe this feeling deserves some gentle, compassionate attention. So let's bring this all home. The whole fear that started this conversation was whether this quietness was some kind of defect. And the answer, I hope, is a clear, resounding no. Always remember, your face is not a perfect mirror of what's happening inside. So many thoughtful, deep, and truly content people move through the world with a neutral expression. It's not a mask for sadness. It's the face of contemplation. This quote really gets to the heart of it. This isn't about you being broken. It's about you not fitting into a very narrow, very loud, and frankly, pretty superficial definition of what happiness is supposed to look like. It's about having your own way of being, and it's completely valid.
And that is the ultimate takeaway. That quiet contentment, that rich inner life that doesn't need to be screamed from the rooftops, that's not a flaw. That is a sign of depth. Your inner peace is real, it's valid, and your quiet world is whole.